Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about a book called Girl Interrupted, written by Susanna Kaysen. I have my notes here, so if I'm looking down it's usually because I kind of want to, check my notes and see if I'm actually covering all the things that I wanted to cover. I want to stress that I'm talking about a book. There is also a movie called Girl Interrupted that it's based on this book, and I want to watch the movie and also talk about it, but in this video I will be talking about the book. So the book was published in 1993, but it takes place in 1960s when Susanna Kaysen was hospitalized for 18 months in a mental institution. Because of that, it's very autobiographical. She discusses her thoughts, her experience. She writes about other patients there and how they experience their problems and their stay in the psych ward. And there is no clear linear storyline for this book. It's pretty much just a compilation of short chapters. I mean, several of them are long, but most of them are like 1, 2, 3 pages long. Like, it's really short. Susanna Kaysen was hospitalized after supposed suicide attempt, though if I remember correctly, she kind of denies that it was a suicide attempt. And the doctor, who is a psychiatrist that she sees for the first time and who only speaks to her for just maybe 20 minutes, suggests to her that maybe she could go for a few weeks to this mental hospital and just take time to recover, but she ends up staying there for 18 months because according to them she's still not better, and they diagnose her with borderline personality disorder. I want to talk about some of the thoughts that Kaysen shares in her book, because I think some of them are still very relevant. So first is I want to talk about the BPD diagnosis that Kaysen receives and how she views it and how she questions how relevant it is. She feels that the criteria that are used to diagnose BPD target women, and that's why women are more often diagnosed with this disorder than men are. She lists the symptoms there, and it's true that the symptoms that she lists there are very targeted towards women. But I think it's also important to say that nowadays the criteria is a bit different, it's a bit wider, and I think that targets, it's kind of widens the people that it can target, let's say. But she does make a good point when she says that one of the symptoms is promiscuity, and that was especially there is still double standard when it comes to sexual behavior of men and women. There was even more double standard when in 1960s when she went through her hospital stay. It's pretty much based on the fact that men can often date and sleep with how many women they want, and nobody bats an eye. But if woman goes and dates, a lot of men, sleeps with a lot of men, she's considered a slut, a whore, damaged goods. Like there must be something wrong with her, and that is definitely a double standard that I think it's good that she acknowledges. One of the things that she feels that her BPD diagnosis wasn't exactly justified is because when she was diagnosed, I think she was 18 or 19, so she was just a teenage girl, and she feels that many of the criteria are just what every teenage girl kind of goes through. And there is the instability of self-image and interpersonal relationships, desire for reckless behavior, promiscuity, and self-harm, and no, I kind of being lost in what you want from life and so on. And I agree with her. I agree with that. That is what I think every teenager goes through. Maybe not self-harm and so on, but this kind of instability and not being sure what you want and how you feel. She also kind of questions the validity of BPD because of this criteria and how it's more targeted at women and how they're kind of vague and can be applied to many people. And I know that she writes in a book that she thinks that maybe one day BPD will be kind of forgotten, just like, let's say, homosexuality was considered mental disorder back in the time, and now it's not. That maybe this same will happen to the BPD diagnosis. But I think it's also important to acknowledge that BPD is an actual disorder. I can understand where is Kaysen coming from and why she thinks this way and why she felt this way when she wrote the book and when she was going through what she was going through. But BPD is a real diagnosis, and there is more to it than just let's say instability of self-image and reckless behavior. There is more to it, and I will link a video, maybe more than one, in the description that done by a great therapist, Kathy Morton, here on YouTube, where she talks about BPD and what it's like, so you can check it out for yourself. She also thinks about what it means to be sane, and she suggests that sanity is just concept made by normal people so that they would feel better about themselves, and so they can isolate these weird elements that mentally ill people are. Which to me was very interesting, especially because there are and there have been these kind of thoughts and suggestions on this topic, that there was a movement in, I'm gonna say 1960s, 1970s, but I'm not sure exactly, that considered mentally ill people as being as these beings able to access things that normal people can't, because of the fact that our brain functions differently, so we are able to access thoughts that other people can't. We are able to, let's say, see or hear things that normal people can't. And then there is also the concept that we are maybe blaming disordered behavior for what is normal, because the way we see mental illness and the way I talk about it is a very Western thought process. So to me that was a very interesting thought, connected to another thought that Kaysen had, which was, if the psychiatry is actually treating a brain or a mind, and I would say that nowadays the most recommended treatment is to combine it, to treat the brain with some medication if it's possible, if you find something that works for you, that helps you, that doesn't give you side effects, or at least not very many and severe side effects, but that you also should access some therapy. So she kind of thinks if the treatment that she receives at the time was actually helping her in some way, or if they were just treating problems that weren't really there. I apologize if this video is a bit confusing. I would definitely recommend reading Kaysen's book, it's very interesting. But the reason that this video is kind of confusing and complicated, or at least I think it is because she presents many, I would say, philosophical questions, or questions on topic of how we see mental illness, how we treat mental illness, if we treat it the right way, if there should be some other way. And I was trying to present her opinions, but also kind of explain my opinions if they differ a bit. But some of the things are just, undecided, like the way if, like, let's say, do we treat mental illness the right way, or is mental illness actually not an illness, but some people accessing different thoughts than other people can't. That's not something that you actually can solve, at least not at this point that we are now with medicine and everything. But I would definitely recommend reading it. It's, I would say, fairly easy read, because, well, in that sense that it goes very straight to the point. But when she gets philosophical, it can get a bit much at times, I admit. And I also admit that I didn't actually agree with everything that she had to say, but generally I would think that she described her experience very well, and I agree with her that from what she wrote, I'm not sure that her stay in the psych ward was actually warranted, especially because it added to the stigma that she had to face, when she was trying to get work after getting from the institution. Everyone saw that she was hospitalized there, and they often didn't want to offer her a job. No, actually, the way she got out of the institution was because she got offered to get married. And she even wasn't sure that she ever wants to get married. So there's also the element of not conforming, which kind of added to her possible mental issues, because just like Esther in The Bell Jar, Kaysen wasn't exactly conforming to societal expectations of what a woman should be, how a woman should behave, and what she should want, which again led her to be isolated. Overall, I would really recommend reading it. I think it's a very interesting book, and I can't wait to watch the movie because, like I said, the book doesn't have a linear storyline, and it's full of these thoughts and almost like philosophical, essays on what is mental illness. So I'm really curious how they translated that into a movie. Anyway, if you like this video, you can click the subscribe button or give this video a like. And if you have any thoughts on Girl Interrupted, if you read the book, or if you have any thoughts on the ideas and thoughts that Kaysen presents in the book, you can leave that in the comment section, and I promise to read it. So anyway, see ya. Bye.